Employee motivation constitutes a pivotal factor in the success of any organization. One of the contributing factors to employee motivation is their states of financial well-being. An intricate interplay exists between financial well-being, employee productivity, and their collective impact on the company's business performance. In the face of evolving challenges within the global workforce, the role of human resources emerges as a cornerstone in ensuring sustainable employee productivity through the lens of financial well-being. We delve into the transformation of HR from a traditional function to strategic partners occupying a central role in nurturing employees' financial health. Employee financial well-being, productivity, and companies' business performance, what more HR can offer. I am Muhammad Mafukin Mokhtar, and this is The Insights. Let's go. AKPK Financial Education and Wellbeing Research Centre, FEWRC, conducted a survey on more than 3,000 Malaysian working adults to gain insights of the relationship between financial well-being and employees' productivity and unearthed several crucial findings. The research evidence suggests that Malaysian working adults who are in a good state of financial well-being would likely be more productive at work. Employees who are financially stable and free from financial stresses tend to be more motivated and productive at work, so they can concentrate better on their tasks and deliver their tasks with a good attitude. Does the proposal of financial education training help to improve their financial well-being? Which brings me to the next point on the impact of attending financial education training. So we have also asked the respondents whether they attended any financial education program and how such experiences impact their productivity. It's very interesting to note that attending financial courses shows a positive correlation with enhanced financial well-being. Those who attended the financial education program have a better productivity as compared to those who have not attended any financial education programs. Therefore, it's proven that capacity building initiatives such as financial education program can offer guidance to employees, enabling them to make more financially prudent decisions. Ultimately, this leads to a positive state of financial well-being. This raises a concern of, are our employers doing enough in providing financial education programs? The research also reveals that there is a gap between the supply and demand for financial education programs. It's noteworthy that 74% of Malaysian working adults demonstrated a strong interest in participating in financial education courses. However, in contrast, only 48% claim to have access to a structured financial programs offered in their organization. Joining us today, three renowned guest speakers were having a very vast amount of experience in managing talents, training, and as well as occupational health with employees. So let me introduce with us Dato Dr. Nora Abdul Manaf, Group Chief Human Capital Officer, Maybank. And we also have Dato Shahul Dawood, Chief Executive Officer, Human Resource Development Corporation, or HRD Corp. And we also have Dr. Santana Mohan Nageswaram, Head of Health Section, Department of Occupational Safety and Health, Wilayah Persekutuan Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Welcome to The Insights. Before we go to a discussion, I would like to set the context of, I would like to start with Dato Nora. You have a vast amount of experience in managing employees in a big corporation like Maybank. What are the common factors that contribute to the level of productivity of employees? Maybe you would like to share your experience, Dato?
Sure. In, if I can call you in. All right. No, that was a perfect intro and context building when you shared the findings that AKPK had done. Without doubt, I mean, there's plenty of research out there, ranging from Morgan Stanley, PwC to Gallup, right, that links productivity, well-being, financial well-being, and business results.
Yes.
Right, very, very proven out there. Um, and so, absolutely, the answer to your question is whether it's a small population or a large population, it's actually similar. It's just the scale, right? Uh, for a person to be able to focus, right, the person needs to be able to be free of stressors, right? And total well-being, I've always, subscribed to this, not just because of my HR profession, but also I'm a chartered accountant by training, right? Total well-being of a person, actually the core is financial health and financial well-being.
Yeah.
You can try to provide counseling and support on other aspects, but the person will not be totally well if there is a nagging concern
Yeah.
on where to get the money for the child's, extracurricular activities, payments, and so forth. So the person will be distracted. So focus is very, very key. Now, I also need to emphasize, right, the fact that in providing, though, the support, yes, it will take, from a business perspective, some investment. But what we've found with our population is there are ways, from a HR perspective, there are ways to still keep within the budget, if you like, that you want to spend, and yet be creative about how to ensure that financial well-being is supported and enabled.
I would like to cite some of your efforts in Maybank because we are in AKPK, we provide financial education and we actually continuously provide education program at Maybank Training Center.
Yes.
So that is basically one of, I think, quite commendable efforts that you provide to those who newcomers to
Yes.
the Maybanks. And I would like to bring that context also to Dato' Sahul. When we presented research just now, we found that there is a gap between supply and demand. What do you think about that? I mean, from your perspective of Shari Corp, do you have any data to show, or maybe perhaps your observation of, how much the take-up rate by the employers with regards to financial education training program?
Thank you, Ian, for having me this morning. Well, I think HRD Corp, as a custodian of learning development in the country, have a greater responsibility to educate people and engage people in the context of learning and awareness. Of course, like what Dato' Nora mentioned, this is one of the key components in terms of learning and development, because you can't afford to have a staff who's been nagged by all these financial issues.
True.
That will directly relate to the performance in the company. So no organization wanted to have such problems in the company, but it has to correlate back into the kind of engagement, continuous training. Learning is very important for this. In HRD Corp, we have programs that has been designed to cater such target audiences. Of course, we believe that it's just not only the physical learning program that we do. We also have our online platform eLatte, which has close to 90 over training programs that is directly related to financial well-being. We talk about investment, we talk about insurance, we talk about the scams, we talk about managing your finance better. So the rate of undergoing trainings in this space is getting better, is encouraging. We got almost 30,000 people who attended this program in the last 1 year or so. And we also continue to work closely with Bank Negara and other institutions that is helping us. Also, we help them to manage these people better. But once again, it is just cannot be the training alone. We could bring in all kind of trainings around the world, but it has to go back into the individual management of the finances as well. That's the most important. Like what Dato' mentioned, if you want to manage yourself within 2,500, we can still manage it. Yep. Even it does not mean the financial well-being issues are only for the low salary scheme. People, even people drawing 5 figures are having the similar problem. So it's not that it is the lower level and the people earning higher salaries are no issues. So it's beyond training. there's a lot of things need to be done. And HRD Corp is on top of it. With the recent survey, we got it, Ringgit Plus Literacy Survey. 53% of the survey respondents says that they can't afford to have their saving more than 3 months. The max they can have is 3 months. That's not a good sign for the country. So we got to continue to work on their pattern of spending and earning as well.
Yeah, so you mentioned about one very interesting point where you said that, financial stress, negative financial stress is regardless whether you have a low salary or high salary. And it's actually also proven in our research back in 2018, when we did research on the financial well-being of Malaysian working adults, we found that there is no correlation between your, salary with your financial well-being. What we found that is actually when you have a good financial behavior, then you will enjoy better financial well-being, which is need to be have, for example, capacity building to develop the behavior. So very interesting, and I would like to bring the discussion to Dr. Mohan. I would like to touch about the employee's health. We talk about financial stress. Maybe we would like to elaborate about how financial stress could affect mental health and at the end of the day could jeopardize the physical health of employees. Doctor.
Okay. All right, thanks for having me here. So when we're talking about in OSH perspective, like occupational safety and health, especially at workplace, we do see the well-being of the staff itself. And we do have things that related to mental health, but now we are focusing much into financial health by itself. So financial health, yes, it can correlate with the staff well-being. It can cause similar type of symptoms that caused by other stress level also. So detecting that stress, financial stress, is going to be a bit difficult because they will be present with normal stress as well. They will be present with some anxiety, and the worst one will go into depressions. So these are the mental health that they could go into. And on top of it, you also have the physical health that could diminish due to this. They can tend to get more towards high blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases, and all this is actually interrelated with each another. So detecting these problems, which is due to financial stress, will be quite a tricky portion to be played in the workplace itself. So, and all this can lead into low productivity, where the workers will have decreased amount of thinking capacity or making decision capacity, which will lead to lower productivity, which also indirectly can lead to occupational accidents that could happen. So all these are interrelated. And when we are talking about all this, the most that we seen currently is the presenteeism and absenteeism of the staff due to this. So you can see staff who are taking frequent MCs, or they're coming to work, they are present at work, but they're not productive at all. So you can see a rate of increase in this absenteeism and presenteeism. So all this is due to stress, but here what we want to focus is how are we going to get them captured into, are they coming from a financial stress, or is that other type of stress? Is it violence at workplace? Are they being bullied? Are there sexual encounters at workplace? So those type of things. So where are we going to capture this kind of stuff is going to be a crucial thing for us to play in the OSH field.
Very interesting that you mentioned about the impact of financial stress, and at the end of the day, jeopardize the level of productivity, which confirm our research finding just now. I have more question on that particular side, but I think maybe we go to the break, and we will be right back.
Let's go. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Insights brought to you by AKPK Financial Education and Wellbeing Research Center, FEWRC. We are talking about how financial stress could affect employees' productivity. And before we break, we talk about how financial stress could jeopardize mental health and at the end of the day, the physical health. Dr. Mohan, money is a taboo. Not many people are actually open to talk about it with peers and even to HR, right? So Doctor, based on your experience, and maybe you would like to share, how best can we, detect there is mental instability of our employees? Maybe we can do some proactive action by the HR.
Okay. Here, what we would like to detect are symptoms that been present by the employees by itself. And symptoms like that is connected towards financial stress or stress by itself, it will correlate with something like the staff is having frequent palpitation, the staff is like having sudden high blood pressure, frequent headaches, taking MCs due to headaches. And one of the most common thing is gastritis. They have a increased level of acid production due to all this stress. But we have to understand this is a very common symptoms. Don't tell me when the staff comes and present to you with an MC of gastritis, we are directly going to tell them, no, you're having financial stress, come for a course. No, it's going to be very difficult for us to detect. On top of it, you also will have staff that is going to have insomnia, difficulty in sleeping. So these are symptoms that we have to see when we are approaching the staff, when we are talking to them, and we are capturing these symptoms. And where we can actually catch them is, number one, suddenly they're coming to your HR, they're demanding for an advance from salary. Number two, if they're talking to their colleagues, they would like to borrow money. Number three, if the HR is calling them or asking them something related to finance and they are avoiding it. So these are the symptoms that need to be captured if we have something like a employee assistance program at the workplace where you have counselors at your workplace and they are talking to them in regards of this, and these are the people that we are already focusing on. They might be having some level of financial stress that if we could capture them early, we could help them in focusing into this type of training so that they do not go into further depression, further anxiety, and one shot go into resigning from their job. That is a worst case scenario.
Yeah, that is a very good reflection when you say about the consequences of those financial stress and financial nagging issues by HR to provide training.
Correct.
I would like to bring to that to Sahul. When it's come to training, financial education training program could provide better guidance to employees to have a prudent financial management. At the end of the day, it will increase the coping ability of financial stress where they will be able to do savings and whatnot. What's your opinion, Dato? Whether, do you see there is encouragement for the employers to provide financial education training on this issue?
Well, I think in HRDCO, we got 87,000 employers are registered with us, and we have access to almost 4.4 million employees connected. It's a big number. We encourage our employers to push for all sorts of training that is related to financial well-being. There are a couple of trainings that we continue to embrace it, so that the employees will continue to push to the employees as well. As you know, the learning pattern has changed a lot. Post-COVID, the trends, the technology, and understanding of the acceptance of learning has changed a lot. People have no more wanted to go for long-term trainings. People on a short training, and when the recent data shows that most of them are moving towards the self-directive learning. You can't fit one shirt for everybody. You put in a class for 30 people and you expect all the 30 people want one training. That pattern has been changing. That used to be the way how we used to study. My father used to study, but I don't think so my children or the future workforce is willing to do that way. So once important, we have content in HRDCO. We have employers. We have employees. We're also finding a way how to ensure that these people are being effectively learning is the most important. I mean, I'm a strong believer that the learning is one part, but it just cannot be a learning, it should become a habit. And the habit should start from home. You can't have that financial discipline start at the age of 35 or 40 once you start in the corporate world. You should start from the time you go into the school, from going to the university. I can relate to myself. Early days after my studies, I go into the corporate world. I still had a problem of financial discipline. I earn a salary, end of the month I don't have enough money, I have to pay for my credit card because I've been pressured by the peers, the surroundings, the lifestyle. So we have been pushed to go for overspending when we don't have enough income.
Yeah.
So it has to come from the home, it has to come from the school, university, then has to go to the corporate world, then you see better. See the recent data, shows that almost 5,600 people got bankrupt in the year 2022. Of course, the data is much better compared to year 2021. We got almost 6,600 people.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, the Insolvency Act has been amended in the year 2022. From the threshold of 50,000 to 100,000. Yet you got almost 5,600 people going bankrupt. It's not a good sign, and but there's a lot of work need to be done. The work cannot be just from the corporate level or from the training and development level. It has to go back to the self-directive learning, which individual have to understand the means of how they could spend and what they have, where they have to stop. That's the most important thing. I feel.
I think you highlighted also the important things of high impact training programs. You know, we cannot just giving education. We need to ensure that the impact of the education could provide the behavior improvement of that particular nurse.
Certainly. I mean, that's why we got a lot of content today that is catering towards. We go for a modern way of learning. Today, you could see the trend. People have hardly 30 seconds to 1 minute of learning focus. They've been, addicted to all these applications, TikTok and all this thing. Anything more than 1 minute, they lose focus. So our awareness, our campaigns all have to be directed in such a way that people are able to understand the impact. The impact is the most important from the learning development.
Yeah, true. And attention span also differs according to generation, right? So I think the youngsters having very short attention span and focus. So yes, so I would like to bring the discussion to Dato' Nora. You know, you are as a group chief people officer. Of course, you are easily sitting in the management, and like we said in today's discussion, you know, financial stress, productivity, and business performance. So, how would you like to give some, maybe from your experience, how you can see the productivity could affect the organizational performance from your experience, Dato'?
Yeah, well, I think we've said that the correlativity is well established, right? But I just want to comment more on the conversation that we've had, right? Firstly, totally agree. It's not just about training,
True.
right? If the person has no money, you can train the person to death, and the person still don't have anything to manage, all right? So we have to get beyond that. That is a minimum requirement, and it must be available, especially in these current times where there's so many platforms, there's so many mediums for social for social platforms, right? Those should be made available already. What Dr. Shahal was saying, I totally agree. It's about coaching live, okay? And there again are many platforms. Maybank, our Maybank to You, our May, right, has a live coaching tool in it. It's already in there, right? Where you just go in and you say, I want to buy something, right? Then it's artificial intelligence already. It tells you how you're going to have to plan, how long it will take, right? So it's about wealth management and wealth creation, right, as well, right? Because I go back to the point that if you have nothing to manage, you can teach to manage, but do you have nothing to manage? Okay, you need to be able to help people create wealth. I think that's very, very key, right? And there are many platforms out there where it is live, right? And that's what people want today. You mentioned the young ones today, but I think now everybody are digital, digital citizens right now, and everybody are very savvy already, especially thanks to COVID. Okay. Yeah. Very technical savvy, regardless of age and regardless of whether it's rural and urban, right? Our grandparents in the most rural areas know Zoom, for example, right? So that's a very potent and important medium that we must use if we want to really tackle the problem here.
Okay.
Now, the next thing is the point that Doctor said, right? You must create an environment where it's not penalizing, right? Because when you talk about financial management, people go, oops, defensive, isn't it? Right? So for us, we manage the trends, right? There's a lot of data available. Of course, you have to be careful because there's PDPA and respect and privacy to be managed. But you have many options to get data live, right? For us, we understand when our people are falling behind in terms of payments, for example. Then immediately we go in there already with advisory. And these are new gen jobs, if you like. Remember, we have to create new jobs today, right? We are not going to live in a world where we do not use regenerative artificial intelligence. We'll be very stupid if we don't. But everybody knows also when we start using regenerative AI and chat boxes, then humans need to find a different role. So this is the role. So for human capital, for HR, we call it human capital in Maybank. For HR, a new job, there are few new jobs that I've created with regards to this topic that we're talking about. Number one, I have mental health first aiders. They are certified. They are first aiders. They're not professional. They won't take your job, right? But you are absolutely right. They are taught, and this is in partnership with Mental Health Association, Malaysia Mental Health Association. They certify our people to be able to read the signs better and understand how to channel, right? If this is root cause is financial, right? So if root cause is financial, I have another category of new jobs, HR jobs. They are customer experience managers. And we purposely call it customer experience because it does cover everything about a customer, about an employee life cycle. Okay, we can't call them financial health advisors. Then again, you're creating some wariness there. So once they have that established, our employee experience managers will take them through, handhold them, without it being something that embarrasses them and so forth. So that we have as well. But the third part, this is the ecosystem. Companies have a responsibility, right? You know how long? Remember how long we had to defer even minimum wage, right?
Yeah.
That is not good, right? Now, so the ecosystem includes the industry, government, right, and everybody else. So not being able to pay people says your business is not working well, right?
yeah.
So you have to fix again the root cause, right? Because you can't expect staff who are paid too low to be able to focus, and it has a direct impact on your business outcome, right? At least, so again, there are many studies out there, but at least a 20% potential loss of your PBT, right? If not more. So it is in the interest of the company to sort out your business model so that the staff is paid well enough to have financial well-being, right? And for that, there are many examples, right? Our banking industry, for example, recently, right, we concluded the collective agreement with a 17% increase. Right, 17% increase. I saw your raised eyebrow, doctor. Okay, no, but you see, this is the minimum level people. They're clericals, right? So I always tell my senior team, do not grudge that, right? Theirs is a very small base, a very low base, right? If they have financial health issues, they are not able to. I mean, there's a high risk of fraud, right, for us. For factories, there are high risk of workplace accidents, isn't it, which could lead to deaths. So it is a business agenda for you to fix your business model. And the good thing about that, let me plug it in there, right, is it comes within the S in the ESG, in sustainability, right?
Social.
Yes, in social, but banks, most financial institutions have put aside funding for sustainable transitioning. That means companies, one of them is companies that are not operating well enough. And in Malaysia, we know there's a lot. We are trapped in the middle income, right? We've done a lot, and we have good evidence of progressing. But we need to do something really different for any significant change. right? Because even productivity levels of our country, right, it's fallen behind Vietnam, which is not something we should be happy about, right? And so tap onto the financial institutions that are committed, right, to finance transitioning, right? Maybank, for example, have committed 80 billion ringgit, right? And actually, there's not much demand, right?
It's a very
We
huge
have to.
amount, and yet
Yes, there's a
very less demand.
disconnect there. Now we have to be careful because we cannot be accused of greenwashing or whitewashing, and there's many other color washing, right? But right, so we have to be careful. This has to be truly sustainability transitioning financing, right? So there are options out there for us to come together because it requires a whole ecosystem to deal with actually the financial health of one employee because that employee may be underpaid, right?
True.
Okay.
It's very, I mean, that is absolutely interesting discussion that you are covering quite very good and holistic, touching from the root cause of the problem, and at the end of the day, you provide, you create additional jobs to address these issues. It's very interesting, and I think it's a commendable effort done by Bank under your supervision. So, very interesting. Before we go to the conclusion round, maybe let's take a break, and we will be right back.
Let's go. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Insights, brought to you by AKPK FEWRC, Financial Education and Wellbeing Research Center. We're talking about employees' mental health, productivity, and business performance. And Dato', you mentioned a very good, quite holistic coverage about this issue. And maybe before we close, what is your views and maybe a way forward for HR? So what more HR can do to support employees' financial well-being?
Sure. Well, in banking, we have a very common phrase we call KYC, know your customer, right? So if we are addressing the HR community, I would say KYC, know your customer. Because what I'm going to say, actually, in principle, can be applied, again, whether you're a large organization or a SME, but it may require customization in terms of the channel, the medium. Now, what I was going to say is there are two parts of financial needs that your staff will have, okay? One is immediate, the one is mid to long term or unplanned, okay? I'll deal with both. Immediate, as an example, coming out from our lockdowns, because we're still having COVID, so I can't say post-COVID, but post-lockdowns, right? We knew that this is a perfect time to make sure we truly derive the benefits of flexible workforce, right? And that includes hybrid workforce. So there are people in our community, and our community is 43,000 staff, right? Of course, they are diverse, right? There are those that we found out during the lockdowns who cannot work in an unstructured environment. So, okay, you go back to the office, right? But then we have currently about 5,000 people who actually do so well when they are not in a structured office environment. They are supported, they are approved to be permanently mobile. We call them mobile. They're not, work from home because they're not locked in the house, right? They are mobile. Now, for them, for example, not all of them have nice palaces, right? And large open, spaces in their houses. So they need help to be able to set up a good enough office environment, a safe one, where Doctor will be emphasizing, isn't it? And so we also understand that people don't have a lot of disposable income, right? And that's not in a condescending manner because people go through life cycles. As Dato' Shahud said just now, actually there's a bahasa proverb, besar periuk nasi, besarlah keraknya, all right? So it's not an issue for low income only. It's it can be the highest earner.
Yeah.
So what we provide without, bias, whatever grade you are, right? An immediate financial support for them to set up the home office, right? Companies can do that. It's not charity, it's not CSR. You have to repay back, of course. And these are, salary deductions and so forth. But you have to understand, you have to help them.
Yep.
They have an immediate financial need for a large expense, a one-off large expense. You can't leave them to their own devices, right? And the Joneses, keeping up with the Joneses, like everybody else can do it. Why can't you? So then they start borrowing, right, to be able to do it. So that's the immediate financial need. That you have the capacity, because you are running the organization, to help them with their immediate needs. Now, an example, so I'll stop there because there are many other examples actually, which I'll be happy to share in a different forum perhaps. But for the immediate and long-term ones, or emergency and long-term ones, an example that we have today is our staff, knowing that Malaysia's aging population is on the rise, right? And we also know, right, APF statistics that, our retirees will have problems sustaining their lifestyle. But even worse is the medical need. So that's why I said in terms of the emergency, and COVID was very clear, right? People were locked down and they couldn't even service their loan repayments, right? Now, so what is given there for our people is, and we have our Etika insurance arm, the top up for EPF. Most companies have a top up for EPF. So to the HR community, why don't you, no sense in trying to reinvent the wheel, right? Just beg and borrow whatever's working. That's what I do too, okay? Shamelessly. But of course you have to give due recognition to the people that you borrowed the idea from.
Yeah.
So for us, part of the top up for EPF, we give staff the option to divert that for medical health support through to post-retirement, up to 80 years old, right? Therefore, they have peace of mind, right? They don't have to worry. People start worrying actually, to be honest, right? 40, they're already starting, oops, okay, nearly retirement, near retirement.
Yeah.
So they do get distracted. But I have every symptom that you mentioned just now, I have ulcer, so I'm a bit worried about that. So, they therefore have peace of mind that they don't have to fork up money that they need now, right? It's part of the EPF top-up. It goes to funding for their medical emergencies and post-retirement. So there are many things you can do at your disposal without waiting for, others to provide the answers to.
It's very valuable sharing, and just wondering, just as a short question, whatever you have mentioned, your strategies and whatnot, is this being discussed in the boardroom at the corporate level?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for asking that, because I have to demand that, the HR community, that we prove our worth at the big table, right?
True.
I'm a chartered accountant by training. When I was, moved into HR, when I accepted the job in HR, I saw every conference topic saying, get a seat on the big table, get a seat on the table,
Yeah.
right? Now you have a seat on the big table, so you must make a difference. Now, I'll share one example of what I had done, right? When I first joined Maybank, right, the two areas that I was told needed to be worked on is productivity, like most other companies, and to make ourselves truly regional, not just a Malaysian champion.
Yeah.
Now, but when I looked at the data, and still, again, look at your data, right? Know your data. Our people were underpaid. And this was 2009, right? So what I told the board 2 months after I joined, okay? Of course, I had my bulletproof vest on, okay? And I could be fired immediately after that, right? But I said, I'm going to increase staff cost.
Yeah.
We have to increase staff costs because they are underpaid. And if they're going to be playing from FAM Cup to English Premier League, we need to do a lot of things, right? And they need to have that stature and, the skill, of course, right? But board the boardroom and board members are not stupid, right? They're business people. So with business speak,
Yeah,
right?
that's business
So
speak.
my point is, we increase staff costs, but you can hold us accountable for PBT per staff cost, revenue per staff increase, revenue per staff cost increase.
Yeah.
Well, those will increase as well, right? And so the case was approved.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yes, absolutely, it is a boardroom discussion
Uh-huh.
because there's too little, when the things are outside the boardroom, the improvements that you can do is too small, right?
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. I think, yeah, I would like to congratulate on that. I think that's a very huge impact, I believe. You mentioned about this, all that you mentioned is an example of HR transformation from the traditional support unit. Now it's actually, you play a role as a business partner to the organization. Right. So, interesting. Dato' Saul.
Sorry, may I?
Yes,
May I?
yes.
I said 2009 just now. So 2010, Maybank record profit. Never ever in Maybank's 50-year-old history back then
Yeah.
did we breach the $1 billion PBT threshold. But 2010, we start increasing people's pay,
Yeah.
record profit. There you go. Direct correlativity. When they feel good, when they have peace of mind, they produce better. Sorry about that.
That's a very good.
just plug it.
Okay, all right. So I would like to move to Datuk Sahul. Datuk Nora mentioned about these initiatives and whatnot. I think it's more than financial education training program. You also covered about what else HR can do in addition to provide financial education program. And maybe from HRD Corp, would you like to share for us to takeaways? What are the efforts in the pipeline from HRD Corp, if you would like to share?
Sure. I mean, I wanted to take back from where Dr. Nora left. The moral of the story is that increase in the staff benefits, the wages, does not bring you lower down the productivity of the organization. Okay, the corporates have to believe in that. Corporates have to understand the importance of that. You can't get people at a low scale, and you can't pay people peanuts and expect a high productivity. That is very important. See, HRD Corp, we are just beyond training today. Before COVID, post-COVID, the landscape of learning and development, training development has changed a lot. That's where we used to be a custodian of training and development before COVID has moved from there to a custodian of human capital development. There's a lot of difference in just training and human capital. What Dato is doing right now is a human capital, just not about HR. Human resource and human capital are two large different things, So HRD Corp today, we understand where's the problem. Some problems can be solved through the learning and development or training. Some problems have to go beyond that. So if you go back to the root cause of this financial well-being problem, not everybody are having the financial problem because they have the low salary or low wages. No, some of them are having problem where they don't have enough, they don't meet to the ends, the salary is not enough to meet up to their lifestyle. At least they are earning. That's a better problem than those people who don't earn. So HRD Corp has a bigger problem there, So one hand, you're dealing with people who are earning, but they still cannot meet to the ends. That people, we have to guide them, how do you work within your means. But there's another group of people who don't earn, they don't have an income, but they are having a larger financial implication where they have the monthly commitment, but they don't have income that's coming in. So we have to go back to those people, how to get them a job, how to put them in the job market. So COVID is a classic example once again. Dato touched, thanks to COVID. If not for COVID, the penetration of technology wouldn't have come in this far. Who wants to meet people online? Nobody wants to meet people. Even you call them for a face-to-face, also people will be reluctant. But today we buy up to that technology of meeting people online, Zoom, all those kind of things. The same way, the job market also been changed. During COVID, a lot of good people who are in the professional work left the job, or maybe they have been forced to leave the job, so they have no choice to keep up to the living. They went on to the freelancing or short-term career. What happened? Those people have been on a comfort zone today. They don't want to come back to the job market.
Yeah.
They prefer to keep up to their work as a freelancer, or they have this term called gig workers. So this is very challenging to the job market today. I still don't understand when people come and tell me there's no jobs in Malaysia. There's a lot of jobs. The takers are very less. Dato will agree with me. I got 100 over jobs in HRD Corp. Every time we put in the job application, the almost 10 to 20 applications come in. Even to get one people is very difficult for me. They take up the offer letter, they don't turn up. So all these things will go back to their financial stress. And I keep telling that there are times HRD Corp used to pick up people who are unemployed. When you're unemployed, we can get them a job. When you become unemployable, there's a serious problem than unemployed. So we are managing today unemployed, and we're also managing people unemployable. Unemployable, we have to go and train them, upskill them, reskill them, bring them in the job market, make sure they understand the market is larger, bigger, we put them in a job. So we have a sister agency which is Prokeso. They have the My Future Jobs. We connect them to them and we train them connected to them. They get onto the job market. So it is just beyond that, training and development that we got to do a lot of aspects. But I also wanted to echo once again what Dato mentioned. The companies have to start to believe that the benefits have to be rolled out well. If you continue to lose brain drain, people are leaving Malaysia and go up to the overseas for a better job opportunities. Not that they have a better lifestyle or what, but they are not able to get the best what they can get in the country.
True.
The companies are, we don't have, people heading the HR like Dato Nora everywhere. Dato Nora fights for the staff, fights for the benefits. She did this at the 29. And if more companies who have the kind of, a higher level who could fight for the benefits, they would have been better. Today you can't pay people 1,500. Minimum wage is how, even I don't think it's even 1,500 how much can do, but at least for a good, a government has started. Alhamdulillah, government has started to work on the progressive wage policy. Yes. Now it's coming up. So I think we are in the right direction, but it has to be supported by a lot of elements. And the dimension of workforce have changed a lot. It can't be like my father or my grandfather doesn't work for benefits. They just work for the salary. They don't care about what is the nature of the company. They don't care how good is their bosses. They just go there because of the survival. I go for maybe lifestyle. My loyalty is different. Tomorrow my kids' loyalty will be very different. They might work for 3 companies in a day. I might work for 1 company for 10 years. That's the work pattern has changed. Yeah. So your work pattern have changed. Your financial pattern has been going to change. So there's a lot of things we have to do surround that to cushion them. If not, nothing is going to be enough for them. This problem will continue to persist. So there's a lot of elements apart from training need to be done to keep up these people on the safer zone.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think I would like to also take the opportunity to applaud HRD Corp. When you go beyond talent management, when you look at the employment side of that particular, because that is also could bring revenue generation or income to the labor force in Malaysia. That's very
definitely. That's the reason. No, we don't just look for employment anymore. We also want people to go in income generation.
Yes.
If you can have your own income by 2000, 2005, it's good for us.
Yeah.
I used to tell to my colleagues, when those people come to attend interview, it's not we are interviewing them. They are interviewing us today. The thing has changed a lot.
The benefits.
They are coming and asking what you can give me, how long is your workforce, what time we can leave, blah, 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 all these things. Yeah. The thing has changed. Unless the companies are willing to give up the good benefits, perks, if not, you can't able to get a good talent working for you. You can have a workforce, but you might not have the good people working for you. That's very important.
I think the transformation of human capital management need to be evolved over years, right? So thank you very much for that, and I think very interesting. But I would like to go to the Dr. Mohan. We want to close from your policy perspective as working in the occupational safety and health, and you're looking at the impact of employees' health to the productivity and business performance.
Firstly, I would like to agree with what Dr. Nora said. We wish that every workplace we have someone like Dr. Nora who implement higher salary, which directly shows a higher productivity, which is very good. But most workplaces, they do not have that type of working scheme or salary scheme, like myself from the government. We have our salary scales. It can be time-based, or you have to do some exams to go. So for it to be changed, it's taking quite a number of time, and we have to fight inflation. And that's where I have to agree with Dr. Dawood as well. They are also training the employed ones, unemployed ones, how to manage within the salary scales that they receive. So both of them are doing a very great job. And here, an OSH perspective, as I am a OSH regulator in DOSH, so we do have something called the Section 15. Section 15 implies how the employer could take care the safety, health, and welfare as far as practicable at their workplace. So this is a law by itself. So we are trying to focus more towards safety and health. Welfare is also there, but as in welfare, it is not very clearly mentioned what are the type of policies that you could include in the workplace. On the other hand, whatever policies that is available in the employer's workplace, we are supporting it. For an example, now at a workplace, we would like to introduce financial well-being. All staff who join in here, you have to go through this course every year. It is compulsory. And they can do it under the Section 15. And we will be very supportive of that. Yes. The same thing like how they are having zero tolerance of drugs. Means you have any workers caught for drugs, they are expelled immediately. Zero tolerance for violence. So these are the things that will connect to Section 15. And if all workplaces are able to include financial well-being, where every staff have to go through that type of training, it will be good. So we have the law, which is also supporting what we are discussing here today.
Very, very interesting. And, time flies. We had a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, the transformation of HR into a strategic business partner marks a pivotal transformation in contemporary organizational dynamics. A cornerstone of this transformation involved HR spearheading the establishment of comprehensive financial management related program for its employees. These initiatives are designed to empower employees with financial literacy, helping them navigate personal financial challenges and whatnot. So from workshops and on budgeting and investment strategies like we discussed just now to retirement planning, these programs enhance employee financial well-being. And Dr. Nora also mentioned about how best HR and also escalate it to the corporate level, looking into the benefit of the employees so that employees can have more productivity in their workplace and at the end of the day increase business performance. And this is actually, companies with outstanding HR teams have greater odds for creating significant long-term value creation, which can increase employee engagement and ultimately generate business performance that flourishes in the long term. Thank you very much, Dr. Nora Manaf, Group Chief People Officer from Maybank, Dr. Sahul Dawood from HR Corp, CEO, and also Dr. Mohan from OSH. And thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. And this is The Insights. Until we meet again, thank you very much.
Let's go.